All right, welcome everybody. Today, in this interview, we have legendary Chicago legend Allie Vernon on our Skype call. I'm so happy. Allie is a probably one of my first friends ever back in the fifth or sixth grade. So, Allie, it's good to see you. We haven't talked in like 5 or 6 years, probably. So, today's going to be great to get caught up with you. But really, what I want to do today is just get you to open up and help everyone understand all the things that you've been through, starting from when you were young. So why don't you take the lead here and just tell us all about you and your journey through the soccer world.
All right. Well, it's been a while since I've thought about the soccer world. I recently transitioned to the professional world, which is exciting. But basically, I started playing at 7 or 8. I played, on a rec league. My dad was a coach. It was really fun. I think the first team, though, I played with, I was awful. I was really bad. I thought it was volleyball. I used my hands. Not a good thing, but somehow I stuck with the game. My dad started coaching me in rec, and that was awesome. Um, and then at 9 years old, I started on my first travel team, which was Chicago Magic. I think they're still around today.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely are.
But yeah, it was Chicago Magic at 9 years old, and I kind of just took off with the sport. I loved it. It became my newest and greatest hobby. And I think the club, I started developing as an athlete pretty young, and I got to the club level, and I started picking it up even more, and it started getting a little bit more intense. So I'm like, okay, I'm not that bad at this sport.
Right.
My dad was a great influencer in sports. He never played soccer, but he was an athlete his whole life, and um, he was really motivating when I played on the rec league. So it kind of gave me the confidence when I went to travel team and played with all these girls who have been on the team for a while. They were already able to juggle and do all these cool tricks, and I was just kind of coming in, learning all of that stuff. But picked it up pretty quickly.
Okay.
And
Now,
yeah, I
is
enjoyed
this?
that.
Are
And
you
then
talking about the
from
pizzazz
there,
here? What
I
team? What team are you talking about here?
no, this is Team Chicago. My first ever club team that I started with was the Chicago Magic, and then from there I went to a bunch of different club teams
Okay.
throughout Illinois. Um, Team Chicago, Pizzazz being one, and then the Eclipse, and then I finally transitioned in high school to a team in Cincinnati. So I was kind of all over the place, and yeah, that's kind of been my journey. Then I got a scholarship to play at Clara University in California, and the rest is history. It was a long and wonderful journey.
So, so let me ask you this: when I knew you back in sixth, seventh, eighth grade, even in high school, like I remember, like we would train together once in a while. Like we would meet up and play and like shoot around and work on some stuff. But like you had this like crazy work ethic since like being like super young. I remember specifically. How? Tell me how like you. Where did you get that from?
I
Like,
remember 9 years old, and it wasn't from my. It was just in me.
wait. It
Because
wasn't from
my
what?
parents.
You skipped. It wasn't from what?
It said it wasn't from my parents or anything like that. It was from me. My parents were actually like, "You need to relax. You need to calm down. You need to be a kid." I'm over here like, I can't go swimming tonight because I'm 8 years old and I was thinking like this. And so, I mean, I was a little intense. I definitely, calmed down a bit, but it was me that I love the sport so much, and I just found this drive in me to just work really hard, and it got me to where I was able to go.
That's incredible. So
Yeah.
those,
So yeah, I used to.
yeah. So those, you mentioned like the girls that could already juggle, they were already better than you. You were just getting started into it. Like, how did you like learn to like overcome that and like push yourself to become better than them?
I think it just was the challenge of the sport to see how good I can make myself. I've always been like team mindset. That's why I love soccer. It's such a team game. But the only individual part and the competitive part was with myself. I never tried to really compete with my teammates. I wanted to make them better, but in doing so, I would have to train really hard to make my own self better.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that drive to go out and get 100 juggles, get 200 juggles. I think by the time I was, I don't know, 12, I was trying to get 1,000 juggles. And a lot of my teammates, I mean, the club teams that I was on, they started really young at skill work, and so I love that part because you don't get that from all clubs, and so it really develops you. It's not all about winning at that age; it's developing the skill.
Right.
And so I really just push myself hard to try to catch up and get better at that.
Gotcha. Now, were you involved with like ODP or like the national pool? Were you involved with some of that stuff?
Yeah, I started at I think they still have Olympic Development Program (ODP).
Right. Yeah, they do.
So I started that at 12.
Okay.
So we would go to camps in the summertime, and then they would pick you through a pool of players to be on the state ODP team, Olympic Development Program. Now, then through there, you would go to another camp where they would pick everyone they picked from the state to go to the regional pool, and the regional would be everyone in the Midwest region that they would pick. And we would go on trips. We would go camps, and then we would go to trips to Florida, overseas to Brazil. We went to France, and we'd play out there. It really exposed me to Europe and Brazil, like these places where soccer is life. And
holy cow,
was just an incredible experience. Yeah. The thing that's crazy though is it is very competitive to get into these programs, and it takes a lot of training and a lot of time. And you're 12 years old, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm being looked at such a young age. But I think at that time too, you're kind of like, I'm still a kid, I'm still playing, and I just really like to play.
Right.
But then you start moving forward, and you get to go on all these incredible trips, and you learn from all these amazing coaches throughout the areas. And a lot of them are college coaches, so you're getting that exposure at a really young age.
Yeah.
So I think that helped me. A lot of my teammates, were exposed to a lot of this stuff, and you can see the players that went through these programs, you could see their longevity in the sport.
Gotcha.
So you know that they were really focused on wanting to go far with the sport, I guess you can say.
Absolutely. And I think you touched on a point there. It was like
from there after the team.
I'm sorry. I think you touched on a point there with like ODP and traveling and these different programs, where that like being involved with some of that stuff can be intimidating for a kid. But just kind of focusing on just playing and enjoying the sport is like what's key to get through like some of those intimidating situations. Would you agree?
Definitely. And I think it has shaped me to the person I am today because, I mean, in life as an adult, you're going to have challenging experiences. You're going to have people breathing down your neck. You're going to have people always watching you. And to be able at a young age to learn how to balance all of that stuff, but still be a kid and be like, okay, I have to do this, and my mindset has to be this way. I think it was really good for me. It's really, I mean, it's given me a lot of discipline as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how you take it. And I think a lot of the girls too that I've played with, they have that same kind of mindset. And I think it's only has helped me in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Well, good for you. So you were saying you were playing ODP, you were traveling. What was your favorite part of that experience?
Yeah. It froze a little bit, but anyway, I'll go. I think I know where you're going with that. So after ODP, regional team, I got picked up by the national pool, so the full Olympic program, like the national teams. And so I started that around 15. And they would take us to week-long, 2-week-long camps. We would have certain coaches. They would come and train us. And again, it's another type of exposure. And so your name is in the pool now for hopefully if your goal is to be on the full team.
Right.
So I did that for a few years. And then I, got to college and I went through a, back injury. So I was out for a while. So I didn't get called back until I think I was 23 at the time. They had the under 23 team.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I've had that exposure throughout the national camps and the national teams, which has been also a different experience. It's even more competitive. The game is faster, the players are faster, but it only helps improve you. So every time I would go to a national camp, I was like exposed to all these amazing players that when I came back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to work on all of this stuff and get even better.
Yes. And it's
So
that never-ending cycle.
Fire, I guess you can say.
What's that?
It's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah. Good deal.
It's a never-ending cycle.
Awesome. So let me ask you this, and I think a lot of parents will resonate with this. You decided in high school not to play high school soccer, right? And I think a lot of parents today are like, club versus high school. What should I do? You know what I mean? And what was your experience by choosing not to play high school soccer, pros and cons?
Okay, so a pro to playing high school soccer, all my club teammates were playing high school soccer, so I wouldn't have had a team to really play on. But for me, and I can only speak for myself, everyone will have a different mindset towards high school soccer.
Sure.
For me, I tested out the waters with high school to see if it's something I would have liked and if it was going to be something that I would improve in. Mm-hmm. And I just felt at the time that it was more, the culture at our high school was more about just more physicality, I guess.
Sure.
And I wanted more finesse.
Sure.
And I went to a few indoor games, and when girls are getting red cards left and right, and they're coming down with their fists in my face, I was kind of like, this is not really how I want to play soccer. It's some players like that type of game, and by all means go for that. But for me, I just wanted more of the beautiful type of finesseful game. And at the time too, I was switching teams, and I was actually thinking about playing in Cincinnati, which they do everything opposite than us.
Okay.
So I would have a team in I think it was the fall or whenever we played soccer in school. So I decided just to stick with club and play with them, kind of just for that purpose. I wasn't really into risking an ACL tear at a young age or whatever, and that's the physicality of high school. At some high schools was a little daunting for me, so I was like, I'm gonna just stick with club. But I had a lot of teammates who played high school in Illinois, and they loved it. Played at Waubonsie, Nequa, all those schools, and they did very well and enjoyed it. And I think another pro is playing with different players from different teams and learning how to leader and learning how to play with all different types of players.
Yes.
So there's a definite pro in high school soccer, in my opinion. But for me, I just decided to stick with the club.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on both ends, pros and cons. So that's awesome. The con is like the level of play is obviously not quite as quality as a club team or an ODP team or a national pool team. But you do get to experience different situations. For example, on a national pool, maybe you're middle of the table as far as skills or your role on the team, whereas on a high school team, you have to be the leader because you're the best on the team. So Yeah, I like your take on that. That's fantastic.
Right. Yeah, definitely different experiences, and it's what you take from it. So you might be the star in your high school team, and you might have that leader capability that's only going to help you in a situation where it's more competitive, and you might not always be the leader,
100%.
just like you said. Um, I had another point about high school that I thought was really good. I never played on a school team until college.
Okay.
And when I played for my college, I loved it. I was like, wow, I definitely missed out a little bit in high school because people come to your games, your classmates come to your games, and it's a different type of atmosphere, which was super cool. And I think in high school you kind of get that because you're part of a school and you have all your friends come out and you have pep rallies and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a cool social aspect about high school that I missed out on, I'd say.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point, actually. So, how did you choose to go to Santa Clara? Did you get offers from
Yeah,
other
I remember
schools?
when I first.
How did you decide to go to Santa Clara?
Yes. Yes. Okay, this is a good point I wanted to talk about with high school really quick too. Is I was told that I wouldn't get a scholarship or anything if I didn't play high school soccer,
Good point.
and
Love
that
it.
was completely false.
I love it.
And that really kind of, I kind of like knew that wasn't going to happen, but I still with club, and the reason I got so many scholarship offers was because I went to all these they call them like shootouts and tournaments where they have all coaches from a bunch of different colleges lined up watching me play, and that was with my club team. I don't know how it was with high school, but I'm thinking with high school, it's more like the schools around the area and the schools that can get there. So I definitely believe you get more exposure playing with club from a college perspective
100%.
than maybe with high school. But yes, I went to a bunch of they call them shootouts and showcases, and there would be 20 to 30 college coaches who would be watching multiple games, and this is like throughout, this is my freshman year of high school and on. And so I was being picked up my sophomore year. I think I decided to go to Santa Clara at the end of my sophomore year, and so I already had a school picked out and, was ready to kind of go there sophomore year. But it was that early exposure, which I think it's a little crazy just how early it's getting, but that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got offers from. There was a lot of schools. I mean, I got a lot of offered letters, but the schools that I mainly looked at 3 schools on the East Coast, 1 school in the Midwest, and then 3 on the West Coast, and they all offered me, some type of scholarship. And I went on my recruiting visits as a sophomore. And my dad was really both my parents were really instrumental in my recruiting process. Just, they were supportive, and they wanted me to go wherever I wanted to go and whatever felt best. But they had to take me there.
Yeah.
Because I was young, and they walked in, they met with the coaches with me, they asked certain questions with me, but they weren't like overbearing. My parents have never been overbearing throughout my college career or soccer career. If anything, they've been supportive and they've listened. And when I wanted to make a move in any time, my dad would be like, "All right, what's the best move for you? What would you want to do? What are you looking for?" My dad's always taught me independence and kind of like, what do you want? And I'll help assist you. But yeah. What do you want? What are you looking for?
I think that's
he's
huge.
Never been like, do this, do that. Yeah, definitely huge.
I think a lot of parents today.
He knew what was best for me in terms of.
Sorry, it's skipping. I think a lot of parents today are like so involved in, trying to make the right decisions for their kids, and I think they are fearful that if they don't step up and make that decision for them, that like bad things will happen to their kid or something. on the other end, it's the kid's experience. You know, it's the child's experience, and they have to go through those feelings and emotions, and they have to be able to make decisions for themselves. So kudos to your mom and dad, because I 150% agree with that approach.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, I would even leave club teams because the parents were ridiculous. They were too involved, too competitive, too political, and that ruins the sport. I mean, the kids that I know that their parents were like that ended up leaving the sport earlier than they would, and it was a shame because they were great players and probably could have went far.
Wow.
But if you're not allowing your kid to have their own experience and learn from their own experience, they can't make their own decision on what they want to do, and then they get burnt out.
Yeah, that's huge.
So, yeah. So it's like you're training these kids to be a tiny adult pretty much through their experience with sports. And I think sports is an amazing experience. And I think you learn so much as a human, like, for your future self. And don't ruin that just because you're trying to get them a scholarship. Don't ruin that experience for them just because you want them to go to a certain school or be the star athlete.
Yeah. I think you hit a home run with that.
If it's meant to be, it'll be. Like, for me, I was driven.
Yeah, it's a problem with these parents today. And like you said, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
But, right. And like I said, I was so driven. My parents were there to tell me you need to be a kid. My parents were like, pull it back a notch. My parents were like, okay, you could play this sport in everything, but you can't get nutty about it. You need to have fun. And my dad and my mom always kept it fun. That's why I went for so long. And then when I didn't have fun, they were like, we're leaving this team. You're not having fun. If you want to stay playing. Because there was a couple times I had some coaches and I was like, heck no, I'm going to quit. I'm done with soccer. I hate this sport. And then my dad's like, take a deep breath. Let's just think about this. Would you want to try something else before you decide to quit or anything? I said, all right, let's check it out.
Wow.
And then I would go to a different team, and I'm like, okay, I love this sport again. It's fun. And, you know, but a lot of the time it was the political aspect between the parents and the coach that would ruin it for the players.
100%. 100%. Wow, that's fantastic. So you decide to go to Santa Clara. What was ultimately like the reason behind that decision? Why Santa Clara?
The weather. No, I'm just kidding. So when I went to visit, it was between Santa Clara and I think Wake Forest. So they're on opposite sides of the country.
Wake Forest is nice,
but
by the way.
You know what? When I stepped on the Santa Clara campus, I kind of just knew. Yeah, very nice. I kind of just knew. I was like, wow. And I think Jared, my coach, did a good job recruiting me. But I felt like I wanted to go to a place that I would continue to develop as a player. And I felt that way with Santa Clara. And I met the staff. And, you know, I really enjoyed them. And I also really liked the campus. Don't go to a school just because of the soccer. Because if anything happens, you want to make sure you like the school if you can't play soccer. And so the thing was, I really enjoyed the school. The weather was great. The environment was great. It was a smaller school, and I liked that. And the class sizes were small. So it's not just picking a school because of the sport. It's picking up the whole, you know, kind of the whole aspect of the school. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoyed that. And I stepped on campus, and I was like, Dad, I'm going here. He's like, relax. You have a couple more schools to look at. I'm like, I'm going here. I already know. So I still went to the other schools, but yeah, I kind of knew with Santa Clara that it was. And I just got a vibe there too. They were really excited to have me. And some schools, you know, I got more of a competitive vibe, like, ooh, what position do you play? Like, you know, and I want it to be more of a team thing. If I'm better than you, then keep working hard and push me to get better, and I'll push you to get better. Not like, oh, we're going to do this competitive thing and, you know. it needs to be a team kind of aspect, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part of Santa Clara, playing wise? What was your favorite experience at Santa Clara?
Playing wise, okay, let's see. So from a soccer standpoint, I love the field was amazing. I love playing in the stadium, under the lights at night. Oh my gosh, like it's nostalgic. I can just go back to it right now, and I haven't even thought about it in a long time. And I'm like, oh, I get chills.
Oh my gosh, that's
Santa
fantastic.
Clara had the best fields. I remember playing. One of our biggest rivals was Stanford, and we would have even playing at Stanford Field. I love playing there too, and it was like just such a huge rival. We had like I don't know, close to 10,000 people come out for some of those games, and under the lights, and people are cheering you on. Oh, just fantastic, And I think one of the best parts is just lining up with your teammates before the national anthem, and like kind of nervous, but you're really excited, and it's just like that calm before the whole game starts. That's like the best part.
Oh my gosh,
But
that's fantastic.
the trainings were great. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Some of the best experiences soccer wise were like playing in the national tournament and traveling with my teammates. So we got to the Sweet 16 a few times, and those games are like your mindset has to go up a notch. So again, it's another life experience kind of tool that we're getting to challenge ourselves with. And playing in these big games, how can you not get too hyped up but not stay too low? Like it's all a mindset kind of thing. And those were just so fun to kind of work myself through and work my teammates through, and how to be a leader in some really tight and tough games, and then coming out on top, and then even sometimes losing. Like I look back at some of the losses that we've had, and we played some great teams and had some really good games with some losses, and it's like, wow, I left everything on the field. I gave it my all, have no regrets, and I'm exhausted. But I still feel like a win.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So, yeah, those experiences, I will never forget them.
That's fantastic. So tell me, you got injured. Is that correct?
Sophomore year, I was 22, and I had a really severe back injury. Most girls get the ACLs and the MCLs and the knee injuries. I had this back injury that I'm like, okay, well, I have nothing to really go off of because no one really hurts their back that much. But it was pretty severe. I had a herniated disc on my lower back, and I don't know how I got it. I think it's a mixture of wear and tear and then improper lifting and maybe just some impact blows when I was playing. And it just got really bad that my disc was hitting my nerve. Okay. So I literally would sit down for 5 minutes, and I couldn't really stand up right away. I would like walk around kind of like hunched over like a grandmother, and it was just really painful. And I was like, something's going on here. And this was after my freshman year. I was like, something's going on. This is not right. But I continued to play because I was able to warm up enough to play. But every time I would end the game, my back would lock up and I couldn't move. And I'm like, this is serious. So I got an MRI. They told me I had a herniated disc. And they said, okay, so we're going to redshirt you this year. So redshirting basically means that if you haven't played the majority of the season, you have the ability to redshirt and make up that season, a season later. And so I was able to redshirt the year, which is a nice thing that I have, because if you miss a full season and you're able to, replay another season later on, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So, that whole sophomore year, I was doing rehab, and they were like, usually with a back injury, you don't want to have surgery. You want to try to have the disc retract back. And so I worked diligently in the rehab center. I couldn't run. I couldn't lift weights with my teammates. I was kind of on an island on my own. My dad and I always call it, you're on an island on your own right now. No one really knows what you're going through. Just keep working hard in the the rehab room and let's try to figure this out.
Wow.
So through that time, I had like, I don't know, 8 epidurals, which is a cortisone shot in my back to help with the inflammation. Those weren't working. So after about 6 months, they're like, okay, this is not working. I should say about, it was about 6 months. This is not working. We're going to have to do surgery. So we said, okay. Now, again, my dad was really instrumental at this because he wanted the best care for me. And he was looking at every type of surgery I could possibly have. And, at this time, I'm pretty much a property of the school. So they would give me doctors to go to and surgeons to go to. But I ultimately decided to have the surgery in Chicago during my winter break so I could be with my family and they could kind of help me out. So because I decided to go home to Chicago, it was kind of on me in terms of payment-wise, which was fine. I just felt it was a better fit. And so I had the surgery. I was out for about a week. I couldn't really move for about a week. And it was kind of tough. But the doctor, who was great, he fixed me up pretty well. But I still had the pain. So it was another 6 to 8 months to try to figure out why I'm still in so much pain. Instead of being healed within 3 months, I'm like, okay, I'm still in this waiting game. So I really learned patience during this time. Some doctors would tell me just give up the sport and work on your career, and I'm like, no, I still feel like I'm able to play. I'm gonna be fine. So that was kind of within me. When it came to a point, though, it was taking so long. My college coach actually said, we may have to revoke your soccer scholarship. And that only meant that the school would take over my scholarship and I could no longer play soccer. So I would still have had school paid for, but I could never play soccer at Santa Clara. And so that was really tough for me. And I'm like, okay, here I am working my butt off. Sorry. And now, like, I'm being told that I might have to go on medical hardship. Because I didn't think that was going to happen. So that was another, that was really tough. But I kept working, and I found some other doctors who were able to kind of, heal my back. And it was almost, miraculous. Last minute, right before preseason of my following year, my back started feeling really good.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. So, and mind you, I hadn't really trained for anything. So my back started feeling better. I went back to Santa Clara to start preseason, and it was a process, but I think everyone was a little bit shocked that I was able to come back. And I came back and I played one of my best seasons. I think my junior year, but I felt more myself. And I think the most important thing through that process was there's a doctor that I met, and I asked him. I said, I play a Division I sport. Am I going to play at the level that I've been playing at? And he told me, if you get hurt again, I will fix you. And that's all I needed to hear to go out and play the same way I've always known to play. So I didn't want to be tentative. I think even with ACLs and everything like that, the girls get really tentative coming back.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of re-injury happens.
Yes.
So just a little tidbit. So yeah, I came back and I played 2 more seasons, and it was wonderful.
That is insane. That's fantastic.
I was able to play. Yeah. But injuries are hard, and I could not have gone through it without my parents. They kept me sane. That's almost 2 years of kind of dealing with an injury, and they just kept telling me to keep working hard, keep your mind right, focus on, and it's all about, again, soccer is a great sport, but more than anything, it allows you to prepare for the future. It gives you the tools and the learning experiences to become an excellent human being, in my opinion.
And that you are, Allie Vernon, an excellent human being. But seriously, mentally, yes, yeah, mentally having to go through all of that and having to control your emotions and having to battle mentally is something that is difficult to be taught in any other situation or environment.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm so thankful for those times. If I had to do it over, I wouldn't have changed one thing. They were really hard, but I look back and I'm like, I needed that to get to where I want to be today.
Absolutely. So after playing, you coached a little bit as well. Is that correct?
I did.
So tell me about that.
I got my first job out of college. Yeah, at Idaho State University.
Okay.
I kind of was going there. I wanted to try coaching. People were like, try coaching. I decided not to play in the women's league because I wanted to continue to pursue my career in health. I studied biology and public health in college.
So you had an opportunity to play in like the U.S. women's.
When I went through my back injury,
Sorry.
I kind of was like.
So you had an opportunity to play in the U.S. women's professional league. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But
after much discussion with my dad and my coaches, my dad was kind of like, he's a very realist. And he's like, you've already won. You've got a scholarship. You already won. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but he's like, you've already won. And I was like, okay. But I've always, in my mind, I trained my whole life to go play professionally. So I'm like, why am I not going to do this? And so that was really difficult. And so I decided no to the soccer, also because my body, I was like, it's feeling good, but professional league is even tougher on your body. And I'm like, how long am I going to be able to keep my body lasting the way I want it to last? And so, and the women's league, unfortunately, it's been wonderful. I have still a lot of teammates who are playing in it, and it's been a wonderful program for them. I just wish it was up to par with the men's league in terms of finances.
Sure.
Because it's hard for a majority of them to make a living.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the same time, a lot of them have just so much passion for the sport that they do make a great living off of it. And so it's definitely feasible and possible to do that. Right. But for me, I'm like, you know what? I studied pre-med in college. I probably should kind of go towards that because that took a lot of energy too. So I went to Idaho State University to see how coaching would be, and then also they would pay for some more classes that I needed for, what I wanted to do later on in school. But when I got there, I realized the coaching thing for me, I still wanted to play, and I was just in a bad place. I just ended soccer. I think this would be really important to talk to your teammates or to your not your teammates, your players and the parents, is the transition out of soccer, because that was the hardest thing for me.
It's depressing. And
I went through a really low time. I was literally depressed. I didn't know who I was.
For me, it lasted a good 2 years. For me, it lasted a good 2 years. And if you've never done that before, you don't know what that feels like. If you've never played a sport, your entire life, and literally played every single day, and then having to not have anything to look forward to, just have it end, for me it was incredibly depressing.
It was so hard. I didn't know how to transition. I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do with myself now? I'm used to being on this schedule. And then I was identified as the soccer girl for so long. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm the soccer girl and I'm not playing soccer. What is this? I didn't even know who I was. And that's kind of sad, because I think that was my one mistake throughout my whole soccer career, was identifying too much with the sport. Because you have to know, and I think that's part of the balance, is knowing that you're more than just the sport. You're an entire person who has entirely different gifts and skills that are not soccer related.
Wow.
And
Yes.
I couldn't grasp that concept. I could not, and I wish I could have grasped it younger. But luckily, I figured it out. But it took me about 2 years. I literally went through depression for a bit. I was miserable. I made my family miserable. But then the driven aspect of an athlete in me came out, and I was like, I got to figure this out. 'Cause I'm not going to live my life pouting like this and feeling bad. Like I'm more than just a soccer player, and I used those skills that I learned in soccer to kind of get through it. And I figured my place in the kind of health field, and now I'm going to PA school. But it took a while. And I'm like, it took a little longer than I wanted it to. And I think the other thing is you're so good at something for so long, and then the thing that you're good at is gone, and then you don't really know what else you're good at. And so you're like trying to shuffle through your mind, like, okay, what am I going to be a star at, or what am I going to be good at? And no, I had to start from, it was so humbling. I had to start from ground zero. I worked at Whole Foods for a little bit because I was like, I just want to work at the grocery store. I tried a few schools, looked at the schools that I wanted to. I coached a little bit. What else did I do? I worked with my dad. And then I finally was like, okay, I love healthcare. I'm going to get into healthcare. I started getting jobs in healthcare. And then I started doing all my prereqs for PA school. But yeah, my parents will tell you, Allie made me miserable at that time. And thank God for them, because all I needed them there was for them to listen to me, because I was trying to process the loss. It was literally a loss. It was a death in my life, and I got through it. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, let me try playing the ukulele. I'm going to go to ballet class. Like, I'm trying all these new things that I didn't really get a chance to do, and I love it.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
It's great.
Allie, thank you so much for sharing all that.
Yes.
So where are you going? Where are you going
You're
now?
welcome.
What's your next step?
No problem.
Where are you going from here?
So now I'm in a physician assistant program. It's a 27-month program. It's like medical school type, and when I'm done with that, then get to practice. But yeah, I'm in LA, and I'm getting ready to start my first day of class on Monday, and I'm starting a whole new journey and a whole new life out here. But yeah, that's the new journey. It's going to be really difficult, but at the same time, soccer has got me to this spot, and all the traits and characteristics I learned through soccer is what's going to get me through school. And I know a lot of schools and a lot of companies look at kids who have that athletic background because they know they need discipline. They know they have communication. They know they have grit. And if you have grit in anything in your life, you'll be successful.
100%. 100%. Well, I think you have brought significant value to the table for whatever audience decides to listen to this. I mean, that's an incredible story, and there's a ton of takeaways from that. What are your just 3 pieces of advice for parents who have, let's say, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, maybe even a 20-year-old? What's 3 pieces of advice you would give for some of these parents?
Keep it fun. Don't get too involved, and allow your kids to use soccer not just as a sport, but as a learning experience for life.
Perfect. Allie, thank you so much. You're the best. I can't believe.
If your kid's not smiling, take him out.
If he's not smiling, take him out. Is that what you said? Yeah.
You gotta have fun. I wish I had more fun because it was a great sport to play. My dad would be like, if you're not smiling, you're not playing well. You got to be smiling out there and having a good time.
100%. Allie, thank you so much. Take care.